most objective people would admit that CNN is a moderate news channel that leans left. They're not a lefty news organization, okay? My point is that CNN actually works to effectively makes the right wings stronger and to work against the progressives' best interest. The way they do this is, first of all, they barely have on progressive people to begin with. When they do, they either ask them stupid shit, play too much the devil advocate. Mostly they have these moderates and these neoliberal pro-corporate Democrats. They don't play hardball with them. For the past 20 years, they've helped keep this narrative going about how are we going to pay for this? How are we going to pay for this? None of them fucking hosts, not one of them, ever ask about how we're gonna pay for the budget that the military gets. They never ask that. Another thing that they do is when they have right wingers on, but you don't see them pushing back like that. Besides Breonna Taylor, Don Lemon, and Chris Cuomo, who was actually good at it, but is now fired. You don't really see anybody like pushing back on them and fact checking them. They let them say the craziest shit and just move on to the next question. Yeah? This is something that you normally see on CNN. Every time somebody like Boebert or Marjorie Taylor Greene does a video and they say crazy stuff, they either play their video, every time they tweet, they read out the tweet and then just do it constantly. Not just one time, they keep doing it. And then MSNBC does it too. And then other lefties do it too. And their message thereby gets magnified. Everybody on the left that has a podcast or a YouTube show repeats their propaganda. You know what I'm saying? In a lot of cases without fact checking them. What you guys don't realize is that a lot of right wingers watch CNN, and when they see these right wingers are here saying the most ridiculous stuff, and these hosts don't put up a fight and don't fact check them and don't push back, they're like, oh, well, CNN must think that they are right because they are not pushing back on them. You know what I'm saying? The thing you always get from people is, well, they're not going to because that's not in their best interest. They're corporatist. Not realizing the implications of letting some of those conspiracy theories and blatant propaganda, not realizing what it's going to cost in the end. At the end of the day, it doesn't benefit anybody, whether they work there, whether they're host or the producers of CNN. It doesn't make sense for the producers to be like, oh no, we're going to tell our hosts not to push back on right wingers saying the craziest stuff. How does it benefit y'all? Like the producers of CNN, anybody please tell me how it benefits them, how they're not going to do anything. No, they don't do anything because nobody reaches out to them and explains what it's not. None of you are making a good argument by saying, oh, they're not going to do nothing. It doesn't affect them. No, nobody has explained to them why it's important that these hosts push back on these right wingers. Okay. Another thing that they do is they help the right wingers victim complex, and they tend to do a lot of sensationalism, right? This is one thing I do agree with right wingers on when it comes to CNN. They do put a spin on things. They don't come out and just blatantly lie about a story, but they'll kind of pull like a sadder twist, just trying to pull on the heartstrings of people, like thinking that really like thinking that really like is gonna draw views because you guys make shit sadder than it might be. I don't know where y'all get that from. Like, you know, everything is like they tend to overplay the race card too. I don't like that shit. Like, you know, they do a story. It's like you don't have to every time say the victim was a black you know, man or da 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 da. Like, it's always like, it seems to me like they CNN, because they feel like, oh, this is gonna draw in ratings, they overplay that. If I was a paranoid, see, if this was the other way around, if CNN was like a right-wing organization, somebody would think like, oh, the producers of this show are really lefties, and they are trying to destroy our cause. Which sometimes it kind of seems that way. Like, it's some of the shit that CNN does seems almost deliberate, like deliberately just trying to weaken the progressive cause. I mean, there's no way that you can have think tanks, or I don't know if they have think tanks or producers, writers, and just not know, just let Fox News go on the way it does, and just smear them left and right, and just not fight back against it. The only guy, what's his name? Brian Stelter. That guy does a good job. He gets shitted on a lot. I don't know why there's so much hate for him. Like, on the left, like a lot of people on the left shit on him. I don't understand why. He's the only guy that's calling out Tucker Carlson. I hope Brian Stelter stay in CNN, man, and I hope more hosts on CNN, you know, follow his lead. I think he does a really good job calling out people on the right wing. But yeah, just one voice is not enough, man. Fox News is an effective propaganda machine, and it is very, very powerful. Yeah, but I think the producers of CNN, it's almost like they're complicit. There's so many things that they could do to like level the playing field. I mean, and sometimes I think to myself, do they not realize, like, they have to be smart enough to realize what's going on? How, I mean, and Brian Stelter knows that Tucker Carlson is radicalizing his viewers. Then his producers, the CNN producers, know that's what the fuck is going on. All right, Brian Stelter doesn't know, and then he knows, and then the producers don't know, or clueless. That doesn't make any goddamn sense. All right. And that brings me to my next question. Why are CNN producers standing by and not fighting back? Like, as there are so many things they can do. Why are they not doing them? It's not like that one, like controversies and back and forth between news networks is not going to draw views, and it's not going to draw in ratings. Of course it is, because it's controversy. That's bickering. That's, you know, people want to see that. Why is CNN not doing that? We gotta find out who these producers at CNN are, man. It's not enough for y'all to say, oh yeah, they're just neoliberals and da 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 da. They're corporates. They don't care about that. You guys that say that are missing the point. We gotta find out who these producers are, man, and what's their fucking angle.